If we don't act now, my island nation will be submerged by the rising sea.
If we don't act now, the Arctic ecosystem will be lost forever.
If we don't act now, our forests will turn into deserts.
Hotter temperatures and drought will threaten our farmlands.
Our emissions will continue to pollute the air.
If we don't act now, warmer oceans will cause more severe storms like Hurricane Katrina.
If we don't act now,
This is climate change.
This is climate change.
This is
Climate change.
it's climate change.
There is something you can do about it.
help seal the deal.
Welcome to this week's edition of Seal the Deal. My name is Flemic Webb. In December, world leaders will be gathering in Copenhagen for COP15, the United Nations Climate Change Conference.
Its aim is for governments and stakeholders to sign up to a fair, balanced and effective climate agreement that will succeed the Kyoto Protocol. In this series, we have travelled the globe to see how companies, NGOs and governments are taking on the fight against climate change ahead of this historic summit.
There is still much to be done to be able to seal the deal in Copenhagen. But in this programme, we will see how companies are demonstrating that with determination and creative thinking, it is possible for good business to go hand in hand with environmental policies and work towards creating a global green economy. And where better to start than at the racetrack,
where we'll join a go-kart race with a difference. The teams and the drivers are not so-called petrol heads desperate to break into the multi-million-pound ranks of Formula One. Behind the helmets and the overalls are some of the brightest scientists and new technology experts in the world. This is Formula Zero. Could this be the future of racing?
Rather than using petrol or gasoline as the fuel, these races take place by means of fuel cells that run on hydrogen, and the only exhaust fumes is water, rather than carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide in normal racing.
But it is not only the fuel that is potentially revolutionary. The global life sciences and material sciences company DSM is here for another reason. It is searching for a way to create a new material from which to build cars. A material that is light and yet strong enough to withstand the extreme forces applied on a car during a professional race, and one that can match the aesthetics of materials presently used in vehicle manufacturing. And ultimately, it has to be carbon neutral. The bodywork is made up of more than 70% renewable materials, including natural fibres and a specially developed bio-based resin from DSM. It's also reinforced by natural flax fibres rather than man-made carbon or glass, while offering the same required strength and stiffness of the composite parts.
Sustainability is a key element in the way DSM does its business. In all we do, we take always into account the interest of all involved stakeholders, our shareholders, our customers, our own employees, as well as the planet on which we live and society at large.
Here at DSM's laboratories, they are working on second-generation biofuels. The aim is to dramatically increase the efficiency of biofuel production, whilst enabling the use of non-food biomass.
In first-generation biofuels, we only use part of the plant material. We use, for instance, if you look at this corn cob, we only use the yellow part here, so the corn kernel with the starch in it. In essence, what you would like to use is more of the plant material, because this is also used in food preparation, which is really what you would like to avoid in competition. So if you look at the whole plant, and that is seen here, we now want to use the rest of the material, use the corn for food preparation, and the rest of the material we can use for biofuels of the second generation.
This technology is called white biotech. By mimicking enzymes found in nature, scientists are able to break down biomass, non-food material that would otherwise be thrown away, and turn it into fuel.
In order to develop a second generation biofuel, we need to take this material, this plant material, which is composed of cellulose. We have to degrade that, and one of the things we have to do is first treat it so that the fibers open up, which is similar to what termites do when they chew the material. So we have to make the fibers shorter, and that is called pre-treatment. After that, the enzymes from the fungi that we are using have better access to the fiber and can degrade the fiber into natural sugars.
It is to the local zoo that DSM scientists turn for inspiration.
What you see in nature is there are quite a few systems that are using cellulose, or you could say hay or wood, as food. You can imagine there are cows eating grass, there are elephants eating hay stacks, really big amounts of hay, and they are able to process that and actually grow on it.
The eating and digestion habits of the elephant and the rhinoceros are providing invaluable information to researchers. Microorganisms and enzymes found in the guts of these animals break down the food and release the necessary sugar and nutrients. These enzymes are now being recreated in the DSM laboratory. These enzymes turn the fibers into loose sugars. The loose sugars in turn can be used by microorganisms as nutrients, or in the case of DSM, other products such as biofuels.
For me personally, sustainability has a lot to do with stewardship. We need to have a good life now, but also secure that future generations will have a good life as well. We need to take care of ourselves, as well as the world around us. We cannot be successful, nor call ourselves successful, in a world that fails.
Developing a credible alternative fuel source, viable on a global scale, is key to combating climate change.
The IPCC, or Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, says that to keep the global temperature increase within 2 degrees centigrade, we need to cut emissions by 50% by the year 2050.
One alternative fuel option that could help make achieving these targets possible can be found right here, in our rubbish.
With oil prices fluctuating and supplies running short, our need for a viable replacement for fossil fuels is ever more pressing. Energy use around the world increases year on year and shows no sign of dropping anytime soon. More people means more waste. Worldwide, more than 1 billion tons of rubbish goes to landfill sites annually, and the United States accounts for 1/4 of this. Our need for energy and the increase in waste could be considered to be two separate issues. Not anymore. For one company in the US, tackling both problems has presented a viable business opportunity. Covanta Energy is a US-based company that is a world leader in converting municipal solid waste into clean, renewable energy. Not all waste can be recycled. Waste that can't be recycled can go to one of two places: landfill, or to a facility where it can be turned into clean, renewable power. That is where Covanta's Energy from Waste facility comes into its own. Today, more than 35 Covanta facilities throughout the US, plus others located overseas, are part of a waste management solution being adopted by local communities. The company now serves the needs of approximately 12 million people.
We can estimate that for every 1 ton of waste we process, we reduce 1 ton of carbon dioxide equivalent. So this is really a significant benefit, and we look at it as a win-win-win. Fewer landfills, more renewable energy, and less greenhouse gases. Covanta works hand in hand with our client communities, a true example of a public-private partnership.
According to Covanta, this is only the beginning. Potential for energy from waste is immense. More than 50% of America's waste is buried in landfill every single year.
Initially, the community was curious as to how it would affect them. At that time, the environment wasn't the issue that it is today. And I think with those changes, people have started to understand the benefits that the facility has provided the community.